Ladies and gentlemen, we're back for more as we've been talking about. You're hearing Rat playing right now, but of course, I've got the comms director. I got Mr. William Eugene on the air. How are you doing, my friend?
Fantastic. No complaints. The weather is turning, and hopefully it'll drive the humidity out for the foreseeable future.
And of course, I need to get your autograph. I'm guessing. Is that correct?
No, it's just a little jest. No autographs. You wouldn't be able to notice that it was my name anyways because my handwriting is so poor. But no, it was a good time. We were able to go on Studio 512 here in Austin, Texas. It's on the local KXAN channel in CW Austin, and got to chat with Stephanie Gary about getting introduced to running, how to kind of get started, even if you've never done it before, or if you've been away from it for several years, just trying to get back into the swing of things, and tying it into the marathon, the half marathon, and the 5K in February.
Yeah, because you guys have, obviously a lot of media attention up there in Austin and everything, but you've had a lot of, like you said, newscasters, weather guessers, or weathercasters. I like to call them weather guessers because the computer does all the work for them, But no, you have a lot of folks that media-wise, that have done the race and years ago, and now they're like, okay, I want to get back in shape. I want to do this again, So that's obviously where, a lot of folks up there. You got a lot of training groups I know in Austin. They're getting people ready for what's coming up.
Exactly, and that was one of the points, is that don't start this alone unless you just absolutely are adamant about training solo. There's different groups for every speed type of athlete, every price range, every location in Austin. There's literally something for everyone in the city, and that's what kind of makes Austin so great, and one of the greater cities in this country.
So of course we're watching it because 3M is coming up January 20th, of course, and one of the things was like, it's my first time. I saw it on Facebook today. It's my first time running it. What can I expect? And someone said it's not all downhill.
That is correct. We're in Austin. We're in the Texas Hill Country. It is a point-to-point half marathon that starts in North Austin and finishes near the Texas State Capitol. There is a 300-foot elevation drop from start to finish, which is one of the produces some of the faster half marathon times, and a lot of people come to 3M half marathon to PR, and it's great to see those goals achieved and those PRs shouted out on social media. But there are some hills. It's Austin. We don't deny that. We don't try to hide that fact. But there is that negative elevation drop from start to finish that produces hundreds of PRs every year.
Oh yeah. I knew it wasn't. It's Austin. If you've never been to Austin, folks, it's not Houston. It's not flat. It's not Beaumont. It's not. You're going to get some hills over there, which I found out the first 4 miles of Austin Austin Marathon, which I like to thank you guys for, by the way. But no, for 3M, you really can PR on this course. Obviously, pacing is key. Right now, you should be doing races just to check your pacing, your hydration, your nutrition, and as like we said, how to get through a water station, because you want to know all that before race day. Isn't that right? Correct?
That is, and we're going to have pacers again this year. We're working with one of the local running clubs, 26-2 Marathon Club. They're one of the local groups here. We're going to have 10 pace groups starting at 1:30 and going all the way up to 2:20. And so they'll be able to pace people to their goals, or if people want to start behind them or a little ahead of them and adjust accordingly, we will have those groups back out again to help people achieve their goals.
Very nice, very nice. So let's get into it. We need volunteers, folks, because you cannot put on these quality of events without volunteers. So how does one come up and maybe say the individual? Someone may have just moved to Austin because there's so many people moving into Texas and everything. How does one, as an individual or as a group, maybe they got a church group, a school group, how do they get a hold of you guys to volunteer?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I just want to say that the decade or so that I've been involved in running, you've said it numerous times. Other people say it repeatedly. Volunteers are they're unreal and they're amazing. They get up early with us. They give their time. They give their energy. They're high-fiving people. They're smiling. They're handing out medals. They're up, at 3 a.m. in the morning, or they're hanging out with us, when we're tearing everything down. But, if you're an individual, if you're a group, if you're a club, if you're a company, we have a volunteer space on our website, 3mhalfmarathon.com. It's one of the top tabs up there. Go check it out. You can reach out to us on social media. I'll see all that stuff, and I'll forward it to Laura, our volunteer manager, and we'll get you in a position where you need to be based on your availability and your expertise and the time you have to give to this great race.
Yeah, because volunteers make everything happen from packet stuffing to packet pickup to shirt organizing. I mean, there's so many things behind the scenes that people do not see at the expo, that they don't see at race day, that volunteers are knee deep in, that make it happen.
Exactly, and you bring up a very good point. I should have mentioned this earlier. Volunteering for 3M Half Marathon doesn't just have to be on Sunday, January 20th. We'll have a 2-day expo on the Friday and the Saturday before, and like you said, there's packet stuffing beforehand. And there's just really great different ways for people to get involved. I know several runners who are going to run on Sunday who are going to volunteer their time either at pack and pickup or at the expo. So it's a great way for people to get back to the running community and just stay involved and stay tied in and know what's going on. And a lot of people just like hanging out with one another, and they get more chances to do that outside of race day when they're volunteering.
I'm telling you, man, volunteers, like you said, 3mhalfmarathon.com. Go to that website, do the contact sheet. He'll get it to the people that need to know and get you contacted, and of course, and get you where they need you. Because if you have experience folding T-shirts in retail, they could probably help you get to where you need to be to help out get those T-shirts out. So let's get to the 3M Half Marathon. Fast, easy, fun run, 13.1. I've done it numerous years. I love the aid stations, the groups that come out, like Beef Team Texas comes out. They do a whole gag. I think they have probably 1,000 people at their water station. But what can you tell us about the 3M Half Marathon? Let's talk about the course. We know it's negative downhill. How difficult it is for a first-timer to come out there to say, hey, I want to run a 13.1. What do I need to know?
Yeah, well, first, before I even get started on that, this totally slipped my mind, but this is going to be our 25th anniversary. So
nice.
This isn't just some fly-by-night half marathon that's just popped up. 3M's been involved with this since the very beginning. It actually started as an all-volunteer-led event produced by 3M employees, and they did it in their spare time, and it's since just continued to grow. And yeah, this is going to be its 25th year. So we've got some things planned for January 20th, and we just launched our finisher medal that is pretty sweet, if I might say so myself. But the course itself, it's a beautiful course. Like I said earlier, it's point to point, so that can make logistics a little bit tough for some participants. But we do offer a shuttle that will pick finishers up from the finish line and take them back to the start line. So what a lot of people like to do, whether they're Austinites or they're coming from outside of Austin, is they'll go to the start line and then they'll just catch the shuttle back up. We do have some sweet deals with some hotels by the start line, so out-of-towners can stay within walking distance of the start line and then catch that shuttle back to their hotel, and they don't need to pay for an Uber or get a taxi or try to figure out car arrangements. So it's coming up soon. A lot of people, like I said earlier, they like to come down and PR on the course, and then of course we finish right next to the state capitol, which is one of the more picturesque places in Austin. There seem to be probably 100 places to take good pictures, but as far as being out on race day, the Capitol is pretty hard to beat.
And of course, if you're a Longhorn, running by the stadium about half a mile from the finish is a memorable experience on its own, because once you see that stadium, you're pretty much done from there.
Exactly, and you can kind of see it from far off, and it kind of grows in the distance. That, of course, as you get near, and like you said, it's kind of that indicator that if you're still feeling pretty good, you still got a little bit left in the tank. Don't hesitate to kick it in a little bit and finish strong, because you're definitely close to the end. Yeah,
and of course, 3M folks, if you know the company, you know the swag that you're going to get, because there's people that sign up for it just for the goodie bag. That's how awesome this thing is.
That is correct. And not only that, but now we've added, we're bringing back Under Armour again as our presenting sponsor. So we're going to have Under Armour Heat Gear shirts again for all participants. So the bag just keeps getting better and better. And of course, the swag bag you're referring to is filled with 3M products. So everything from hooks with adhesive, on the back of it that people hang pictures from, to scrubbing pads, to Post-it notes, whiteout. I mean, it's filled with 3M products that people use every day, and
oh yeah,
people talk about how they continually use their stuff year round, and so it's a great way for 3M to continue to be present in the event and kind of highlight their ability as a company to put out numerous amazing and useful everyday products.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, we got our swag bag a couple of years ago. I was like, I didn't know 3M made this. They make so much stuff that people weren't aware of, that when they get the swag, they're like, oh, wow, that's cool. Like you said, from picture hangers to whiteouts, to everything that people use every day, 3M's involved with, and that's pretty cool. And we applaud their efforts and obviously their sponsorship of the half marathon. And like I said, they started it all. And for the 25th anniversary, is going to be insane how much fun this thing's going to be. So we talked about the course. It's a great course, folks. Yeah, there's a little bit of hill from 8.5 to 9, but don't worry about that. The volunteers come out and volunteer and everything. Now, the big thing that comes out, obviously, with High Five events, you guys put on so many things during the year. Obviously, Austin Marathon's coming up as well. But as we saw recently, and not to put you on the spot, my good friend, but as we saw recently, how do y'all combat bandits and folks that are using resources that do not belong to them, I'll say?
Exactly. It's a good question, and you shared the article put out by Runner's World that irked some people the wrong way, and the bottom line is you can't prevent that 100%. The main goal should be to be proactive towards preventing that. Again, like I said, it's not something that's 100% preventable, but what you can do is you can be proactive in your messaging and ensuring that there's no doubt that is not allowed on your course or at your event, because if you leave any kind of window of doubt, some people unfortunately are going to try to take advantage of it. And it's just one of those things where people out there will do it. And like I said, it's just a matter of trying to be as preventative as possible, but also trying to make those individuals who would potentially do that actually want to pay so that they get to enjoy it, and they get to have the bib that gets them access to the beer garden and lets the volunteers know they get a finisher medal, and they can, pick up the swag bag at the expo and get their sweet Under Armour shirt. Another thing we do too is we have some pretty reasonable prices. We're constantly monitoring what other similar events are doing around the country, and we try to, stay in line with that and even a little bit below it. Another thing we've done this year is we've introduced a virtual 3M half marathon. So if someone's unable to come to Austin, or if their training isn't, maybe where they want to be and they just want to kind of do it on their own, or they don't like being around big crowds, they have the opportunity to actually do the 3M half marathon, 13.1 miles on their own. And then they submit the time and their information to us, and we'll ship them the stuff just like as if they were a participant. And, lastly, a thing that you and I have chatted about numerous times before that, most other events don't do is we have a refund, transfer, and deferral policy for 3M Half Marathon and for Austin Marathon. Now, there's deadlines and there's dates and there is, some fees associated with that, but the fees are there because there's work on the back end. So if you reach out and say, I want to defer to next year, there's a process that takes place wherein we have to transfer your information from one set of data points for 2019 to the following year, 2020. So there's work behind that, which necessitates the need for the fee. But yeah, that's one of the things we're proud to offer is the refund, transfer, and deferral policy, because not a lot of events do that. It's one of those things where if you pay, you're in for better or worse. Injury, work, travel, family, a lot of events, they get your money and they wipe their hands and they move on. and if something happens, it's just tough luck on you. So we try to be as participant friendly as possible, when it comes to being accessible and affordable and willing to work with individuals, because we're athletes ourselves in the office. We chatted about this on several podcasts. We understand what it's like with life and with injuries and with family, and we understand things happen. So we try to be as practical as possible, with the hope that that our participants see what we're producing and what we're putting forth through our events, and those are some of the policies and procedures we have in place to try to prevent that. And like I said, it's not 100% preventable, but we're doing and we're taking some proactive measures to try to minimize.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. Y'all do that because like someone says, oh, they got injured 2 weeks before, like it. Houston Marathon last year, a lady broke her foot a week before the marathon, and she's like, I wasn't going to defer. I already passed it. Like you said, there's timelines and deadlines and fees associated with it. She goes, I wasn't going to defer because I'm in the military and I'm getting deployed, so I'm not going to be here next year. But I wasn't going to miss the marathon. So she got on one of those wheelie scooter things that, people put their knee on and they scoot around classrooms or whatever. Yeah, she had that, and she did the marathon on the scooter thing where she put her knee on and her foot was elevated, and she just cruised the entire marathon because she was like, I couldn't defer. But that is an awesome thing that you guys do. And like I said, I applaud you guys for that as well, because there's so many things you guys are at the forefront with. Technology, obviously, the web streaming that goes on, the Austin Marathon, people going around the world can watch it. It's just one of those things that you guys are obviously Austin Technology Center, is one of those things that you guys say, hey, we can do this, and then you do it.
Yeah. And another thing, too, it boils down to participant safety, and this kind of, banditing coincides with bib selling.
Yes.
And a lot of people just don't, maybe they just don't realize, or they've just never been, had this explained to them, but it really does come down to participant safety. Say runner A registers, right? And they fill out all the registration information. They put their emergency medical contact. They put what they're allergic to. They check off, to give the race director permission if needed. Knock on wood, something horrible happens on race day to them. And then person A then goes and sells their bib or gives their bib to person B. And then person B is the one who participates as person A. And then if something tragic happens to person B to where they can't communicate with the race director or race staff or medical personnel, we're going to go to our information and our data and look up that bib number and that name, and we're going to call that emergency contact. And this actually happened to us, I want to say a couple of years ago at another race. We called the person's emergency contact, and the person picked up and said, no, they're not running. They're right here with me.
Yeah, they're sitting next to me. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, and then, panic doesn't necessarily set in because we have some procedures in place to try to figure stuff out, but you lose precious time that could be used to potentially remedy the situation or save a life or make a difference, in a medical emergency. And it kind of does get scary because then you think, well, who is this person? Because they're incapacitated and they're unable to communicate. And so you rely on your data and your information that you have. And when that's inaccurate because of some actions taken outside of your control, it makes things even more difficult on us and puts that individual in a very dangerous situation.
Yeah, so true. And I even talked about that. Hey, if you're gonna, and I've seen it, and you've seen it. We've been doing this for so long, and there's other people that are listening that will attest to it as well. Oh, I'm not gonna run, but here you can use my number. Well, hey, how do we know if you're allergic to penicillin or you're allergic to the medication if you pass out or something, and the medics and our medical staff have to come take care of you? How do we know who you are if you're not that person? Because that's what we're going to go by. And like I said, you're going to call the next of kin. Oh, wait, Mark's sitting right here next to me. He didn't run today. He gave his bib to Tony. Well, who the heck is Tony? So yeah, folks, don't do that. Just don't do it. It's not moral for you to do that. And plus, it's a huge safety thing. I've been to numerous races where we had people pass away, and if we didn't know who they were, they couldn't be treated appropriately. So don't give your bib to somebody else. Not saying that you're not healthy, but that other person may have something wrong with them that you don't know. So.
Exactly.
All right, off of our soapbox for that issue. So let's talk about, obviously, the Austin Marathon's coming up. Very, very flat course. Sarcasm, folks. It starts uphill, and I think it never comes downhill until you finish. But I'm just kidding. It is a great course. Why run easy races is what I like to say. Why do you always want to run easy runs? If you don't challenge yourself, hills make you better. If you don't challenge yourself, how will you know how good you really are? And Austin Marathon is that course.
Exactly. It's a lot of fun. I run it several times without it being race day, and it's a great course. You know, the views are amazing. You come at downtown from all four directions, north, south, east, and west, at various points along the course. It's even beneficial for spectators who want to see their loved ones as many times as they can on course, because the furthest points away on the course are no more than 4 or 4.5 miles from downtown. So if you got your camera or you got the kids, and you're inside the course, it's nothing to bike to some spots along the course, or even jog or run, or if you want to catch them on the marathon side of things. We try to make it spectator friendly as well, and it's just, of course, it's Austin, Texas, so you're going to get some great views just based on that alone. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. We're bringing back the same course. We'll be going the east side for several miles. That was a big hit last year. A lot of people were very appreciative of that. It gave them a fresh perspective of Austin. They got to visit a new part of Austin, and it's a great addition. And if you look at the course map and you close one eye a little bit and blur your vision, you can kind of see the state of Texas. So that was an inadvertent shaping course on our end, but we're taking it and we're rolling with it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Of course, it starts off a little bit in the dark, but you don't have to worry about it. The safety's out there, and you're gonna. And I'm not saying, folks, like it's gonna be 5 o'clock in the morning like Honolulu Marathon. I mean, it's light out, but it's not really that light out. So you'll start off in a little bit of pleasant weather, and then it'll get heated up once the sun comes up, of course. But it does that at every runs, unless you're running all night at Badwater 135 or something. But it is really a safe course. It is a great course, and how, and just between you and I, how long does it take to go through this course and ensure that everybody along the course knows that you're coming? Say, hey, it's Austin Marathon Week.
Yeah, it's not even about it being Austin Marathon Week. This is a year-round process, and it's something we work closely with the city with. We have our co-owners, Dan, Jack, and Stacy. They've had numerous meetings with City Council, Mayor Adler's office, neighborhood associations, churches, businesses. I mean, we do everything from notification cards that are mailed out based on what the city of Austin gives us from a data standpoint of addresses along the route. Everything from those postcards that are several months out to the little plastic placards that you see stuck in the ground warning you of the potential traffic next week for the Austin Marathon.
So of course, you got to go in the Statesman and say, hey, there's a traffic flow this Sunday, folks. Be prepared. Don't think you can use your usual Sunday route because it may be closed. So it's not like you said, it's not hey, we're putting on a marathon next month. This is a year-round process. There's a lot of meetings, a lot of things behind the scenes that go on that folks really don't know.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's a year-round thing, and all of those measures come into play. But we're also putting out messages on social media, like you just mentioned. The station, we're working with a lot of the news stations, radio stations, other print materials to get the word out, to let people know what's coming, what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, the timeline, because we have a rolling course that follows the leaders and the final runners. So the closures, unless they're major intersections, they don't really happen until the leaders get there. And then that's when the course is closed and supported until the final runners get there. And
until the back of the pack party crew. Yeah, until the back of the pack party crew come through. Yeah.
Yep. And then that's when it opens back up.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things, folks. I mean, if you lived in Austin for years, you know the marathon's coming. You know 3M's coming. Obviously, the same as ACL's there. It's not I didn't realize. It's coming. So plan accordingly, and of course, come out and volunteer, help out at the aid station that's by your house. Because the Austin Marathon, there were Girl Scouts doing cookies out there. There was a beer garden set up at, I think, mile 18 I went by. I mean, it's just the fun that the neighborhoods come out and support the runners that when they come by.
Yeah, and it's not only that. I mean, people are out serving beer to people who want it. These aren't Austin Marathon approved beer stations or anything like that. Right. But it's the community support, and that's what makes the Austin Marathon one of the top events in the country is the community support that comes out. I mean, there's everything from that to aid stations to people handing out, half bananas and orange peels and pretzels and gummy bears. I mean, you know it, or you see it at various events that you're involved with. I can imagine, but yeah, it's great to see the community support. We're starting to see more businesses open their doors a little bit earlier, maybe add another staff member or two, because what they're starting to see is that now that we're getting more and more notoriety for this event and it's growing in its participant size. Combine that with our 3-block long Finish Line Festival that has a beer garden and live music and recovery zone and food trucks. People are sticking around downtown longer. And so those bars and those coffee shops and those restaurants, they're either adding more workers for that morning, or they're opening their doors a little bit earlier because they realize the opportunity to reach out to those participants and make some extra money. And that, in turn, helps the city of Austin, and it helps that company or that business or that restaurant specifically. And that's what we want. We want this to be a mutually beneficial event for the entire city, and it's getting there. And it's not going to be 100% like we would want, but slowly but surely more and more businesses are starting to get involved, and it's really cool to see, because it's going to help elevate the Austin Marathon to the next level.
Yeah, because it's some places they close down and the business is like, okay, we lost out on that money. But like you said, a lot of them are realizing there's people sticking around downtown. All the people are going to be running for 5-6 hours. Their families going to be like, what are we going to do? Hey, do like Michelle did. Go to IHOP or something. Go support the businesses that are downtown that are supporting the athletes and the runners, and give back to the community, which is ultimately what we all want to do, is give back to the folks that support and what we're doing.
Exactly, and a great example of that is the First Austin Baptist Church. We had a meeting with their people, and they basically said, "Hey, we're going to move our service to Sunday night because some of our people are going to be running it, and
nice.
We're going to encourage our people to volunteer or show up at the church early and cheer." And it's one of those things where we're not asking churches to alter their schedules, and we work with several churches to make sure that their patrons have access, especially if they need to drive there and get to the parking lot and everything like that. But, it's really cool to see people see the event for what it is and the opportunities that it presents, and start thinking of ways they can get involved, whether that be, just pushing your church service back, or even thinking outside the box and, telling people to go volunteer and run and share your experiences, and use that as an opportunity to promote the church and to promote what they're doing.
Positive, positive, positive. That's all I hear. Positive things about these amazing events you guys put on. Not only the 3M and, of course, Austin, but the triathlons y'all guys do, and the other things that people don't know that you actually help coordinate behind the scenes. You guys, I mean, it's just a work of love, as I like to call it.
Yeah, and we were fortunate enough to take those two events over from the great folks at Colony Sports that did such a good job of putting them on the map, and we're doing some things to really elevate these events. And for this year, it's going to be the 28th year of the Austin Marathon. So it's been and secure a title sponsorship that's gonna be really beneficial for both Ascension Seton and the Austin Marathon. And they they are going to be the official medical provider of the Austin Marathon as well. So it's a really good win-win situation. They're doing some great work in the community that's in addition to what they're already doing from a health standpoint with their hospitals, but they're looking to get even more involved in the community, and it's going to be a great partnership, and they're excited and we're excited, and both teams have some pretty cool ideas that we're going to work out and see if we can implement for race month, race week, and race day.
It's going to be awesome. And of course, folks are like, well, when is this? When are these events? Obviously, you can look online. 3mhalfmarathon.com is the first one. It's going to be on January 20th. And then, of course, Austin Marathon coming up behind that one. But along those lines, folks, is the holidays are coming. The cooler temperatures are here. If you have not started training yet, there's no better time. Get out. Get off the treadmill. Go train outside, because you can't run the race inside unless you're doing a virtual. And it'll be 13.1 on a treadmill. I don't know how that would work. That would be long.
Yeah, it would take a little bit, but it's doable. And that's one of those things, maybe someone's in Minnesota and they really want to do the event, but they can't travel this year because of one reason or another. And it's, they got 8 feet of snow outside.
Yeah.
And they still want to be a part of race day, and they still want to be involved, and they still want to get the sweet finisher medals that we design and create, and that's what we want to do is in the long run, the bottom line is getting people moving and getting people to change their lifestyles and have better lifestyles, healthy eating habits, and just be more physically active. And that coincides with starting with one simple run. And the beauty of the Austin Marathon is that you don't have to run 26.2 miles. There's a half marathon option. There's the Austin Marathon 5K that actually benefits Paramount Theater here in downtown Austin, Texas. Then, of course, you have the Manzano Mile presented by Dole. We're bringing that back again this year. We're excited for that. We're going to have an elite field again with them. So really, we have options for everyone, for every type of runner, for every type of lifestyle. And if you're someone who's just now starting and maybe doing a couch to 5K program, you get to race on Sunday, and we'll start after the marathon and the half marathon, and you get to hang out in the same finish line festival and hear the same music and hang out in the same beer garden. You just get to do it a little bit earlier and watch the action on the 2 jumbotrons at the finish line festival.
Of course, watch the leaders come in and all the hoopla, and of course Logan and the guys going crazy on the microphone and all that fun stuff. You're talking about the weather. Yeah, I announced Fargo Marathon, and 2 weeks before the Fargo, it snowed. So they're going. I was like, wow, this is great weather. Like, that wasn't 2 weeks ago. It's great right now, but and that finishes inside of a dome, just like the Alamo Dome. And so they're like, oh, no matter what the weather is, you're going to be dry. And but it was such a blast. I mean, the whole week is just festivities up there, and which leads into my point. You guys are doing things all year round for the community. I know you got weekly runs going on up there. You've got meet and greets that are going on. You're in depth with pretty much everything running in Austin. Not even with these events. You guys are saying, hey, we're going to go out and support that because they support us.
Exactly, and it's a part of being a steward of this community, and it reflects not only Austin Marathon but what we do as a company, as High Five Events. And we're out registering and racing these other races. I just did a Run for the Water 10-miler last week, and I helped pace Kaylee Williamson, who is the first person with Down syndrome to complete the Austin Half Marathon.
I know,
she's actually got a goal her goal is sub 4 hours this year. I'm registered for the Decker Challenge in the beginning of December. So we're out there supporting these events. We have, we're a part of some of the long runs that the local running clubs are having. We're trying to get our pacers out there so that people can meet them, ask questions, and run with them. We're at the happy hours in the parties, trying to just continue to have that presence in the community in the city of Austin, and let folks know that we're just not a it's February, we're here type deal. We want our impact to be felt year round, and that's what a lot of our partnerships that are kind of new, whether they're in the last year or two, we're really emphasizing that with our sponsors and our partners, and that's what helps make our title sponsorship with Ascension Season such a great fit, because they have some of the same goals in mind when it comes to positively impacting the community that we have.
I love it. So, of course, as we mentioned, I mean, now you're talking about the Pacers. It's very important to, I mean, it's to me, and I know it is to you and other folks, to know the Pacer before race day. You know, is that person can they really run a 2:30, or can they really run, a 3 hour? And you have that opportunity to go run with them before race day, get to know them, become Facebook buddies or whatever. That is huge beyond measure.
Yeah, because you get to, like you said, you get to ask them questions. You get to hear their process and how they're going to approach the event, and it's just insight that a lot of people don't normally get, because they just show up, they see the placard on race day, or the sign on the end of the stick, and they just kind of go hover in that area waiting for the race to start. And of course, our Pacers are fantastic. They're led by Paul Terranova, who's the endurance athlete extraordinaire. So he's got him in shape and ready to go. But it's one of those things where these people they're not paid professionals. We're not bringing them in from outside the state, or they're not sponsored by a big running company or anything like that. These are Austinites who are giving back to the community, and that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Being a part of the community and maintaining our presence as one of the stronger pieces of fabric in the community. And I want to give a real quick shout out to three gentlemen who are doing a really awesome thing for the 2019 Austin Marathon. These gentlemen are actually going to pace female elites to the B standard Olympic trials qualifying time. Beautiful. It's Brian Morton, Will Nation, and Rory Cunningly. And between the three of them, they're pretty phenomenal runners themselves. Will Nation actually just qualified at last year's CIM for the 2020 Olympic trials, and he ran a blazing time. Brian Morton has actually paced a group like this, I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember exactly. And it was actually his idea. He approached me at a track event we were putting on for Back to Track, and he was like, "Hey, what do you think about this idea? I think we should do it." And I said, "Of course, yes, that's a great idea. Let's do it." And he went to work trying to recruit a couple of guys, and he got some real good ones. And Roy Cunningly is he's nothing to sneeze at either. He qualified for the 2016 Olympic trials and ran a marathon there as well. So these guys, they're legit, and they're top of the line runners. And I know all three of them are really excited, and they're picking up some attention because of what they're doing. And we're trying to spread the word as much as we can, because anyone can qualify for the Olympic trials on our course. And it was proven last year when Allison Maxis hit the B standard, earlier this year, 2018, Allison Maxis hit that B standard in 2:43 and change. So it's doable, and time is kind of running out for people to hit those standards for the trials in Atlanta, and we want to help as many females get that B standard as possible.
Yeah, it was funny because obviously I do one of those marathons that everybody likes to go to, and it was right at 2:40 we started seeing the groups, on our TV screens coming down the road, and we're like, oh, they're going right at the standard. They're trying to get that, and literally at 2:43, 2:42, there was probably 50 girls coming in, and we're just like, and a lot of them were just talking, like, okay, we're in, and it was like, oh, I know what y'all were doing. I totally understand, and they were going, oh, well, yeah, we're just trying to make that standard. But when you have three elite male runners that are going to be pacing, I think it's pretty much a shoe-in that you're going to make it at Austin Marathon, because, like you said, Will Nation, those guys, they know what they're doing. They're no slouches.
Exactly. And they're going to act as rolling finish lines. So they're going to be hitting pretty even paces throughout the race. So you're gonna know where you're at, and you're gonna know where you stand when you see that trio. and their goal is to cross the finish line at 2:44:59 and just be right on it.
Nice.
And so all of our pacers, even last year, I was watching they're like clockwork. I mean, I'm telling you, these guys and these gals are phenomenal, and they're amazing in what they do and what they're capable of. And they practice it. That's one of the things, is we're marrying their practice runs with what the local running groups are doing with their long runs. And it's a perfect idea that makes complete sense, because it benefits everyone involved. And it's just one of those things where we look at any and all opportunities and we say, how can we make this work, and how can we make it benefit the most amount of people? And this is one of those opportunities where we can do that, and we can do it in the local community, and we can create this B standard pacing group and try to help some elite females hit that B standard, or at least give them a rolling finish line with which to base their effort off of. And if they want to surge ahead, great. If they want to drop back and try to recover for a little bit and catch back up, so be it. They'll at least have that mark on course that they can judge their effort off of.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing when you know the course. And like you said, and we've been talking about, when you have three of the most amazing runners, they're going to be leading the way, and I'm sure they'll be talking on the course as well. The guys will be like, "Hey, if you drop back 10 seconds, you can come back up at this point." I mean, they know what they're doing, and they know where on the course they can come back up and make up time and everything. So this is going to be interesting, and it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I know they're ready for it. I'm excited to see what can happen, and we're doing our best to get the word out, to let these females know that, hey, this opportunity is here, and we're going to have this group they're going to get you to the finish line. You just gotta hit your training. You gotta knock your nutrition and your hydration plan
right there. You gotta get your training
out of the water.
Yeah,
exactly. So they're not going to qualify for you. They're going to help pace you to that time. And again, like I said earlier, Allison Maxis qualified earlier this year, so it's possible out there, and we're trying to attract more elite females to Austin to hit their B standard.
It's gonna be awesome, man. It's gonna be a great time. Obviously, 3M Half Marathon's coming up first, folks. 3mhalfmarathon.com. Go to the website if you have any questions about it. You should be following them on social media anyway. But if you have any questions about it, obviously go to the contact sheet, fill it out, and either William or one of the crew will get back to you with the answers that you need. Not the answers maybe that you want, but the answers that you need, because sometimes the answers you want are not really what you want, right?
Exactly. And, but again, like I said, we understand life happens, but we also do have rules and regulations and policies in place that make things as smooth as possible for everyone involved. And it's something that we've worked on and crafted for numerous years. So we've been around the block a time or two, but we're excited for these upcoming events and all of our sponsors and partners who are involved, and even the participants who are already registered. They're posting their training runs on social media. They're sharing their group photos and talking about their hydration and their nutrition plans. So it's really cool to see those people in their gradual progression throughout their training from afar. Even if it is on social media, it's good to stay up with those people and to be able to cheer them on. And that's one of my main likes of social media is being able to interact with athletes who are just like me. They're up at 5 a.m. going to get that run in, or staying at work late so you can get that late night run in. And it's a cool thing to be able to see that online, and we're appreciative that they choose to share it with us.
Yeah, I'm sure it was probably you. What advice would you give a first timer? One of the things was like, it's not all downhill, which we already talked about. But you got the 26-2 Marathon Club pace teams going to be out there to get you to your PR, learn about the paces, and you meet them at the expo. As you said, they're doing other races as well that you can join them at and get to know your pacer if you're looking for. Because you may go, I want to run a 2 hour when you can actually run a 1:45 or something that you don't know, because these pacers are, like you said, their foot hits that finish line right on the mark. I mean, that's how good they are.
Yep. And like I said, we're appreciative to have them, because they're they're just as awesome as our volunteers are, and they help make our events that much better. And it's one more thing we can offer a participant, and it helps them achieve their goals, which in turn is a great thing to see on race day, when you see people taking photos with their medals, or they break down crying because they're so happy, or they're hugging team members, and you can tell because they're in the same jersey or the same singlet or the same shirt. It's really cool to see that magic and that energy on race day, and it's great to be able to track that throughout the year on social media as well.
I'm telling you. Well, my friend, I know you need to go. We're going to do many, many, many more of these. So this is only the first one. We got a lot of information out. Hopefully folks can, they'll be able to replay it. And I've actually taped it on the video as well. So we'll put that out. And I appreciate your time, because I know you're a very busy man. And the time is coming. You really don't get any time off between now and then.
Oh, we're full steam ahead right now. And there's, we've discussed numerous times how I wouldn't have it any other way, because it's just like I said, I've been in the running world for more than a decade now, and it's great to see new faces. It's great to see the old faces. It's great to see people who have only done 5Ks do 10Ks, and then 10Ks to halves and halves to fulls, and it's a great world we live in, and like you said, we have so much more to talk about. Everything from Austin Gives Miles to our charity chaser to more sponsors, more partners. I mean, we haven't even revealed the Austin Marathon medal yet. We haven't revealed either of our shirts for 3M Half Marathon or the Austin Marathon yet. Those designs are coming. And like I said earlier, they'll be on some sweet Under Armour shirts. So you're going to get something. You're going to get something that's going to be a good product, and it's going to last a long time. So we'll be releasing those soon. And like I said, we've already released the 3M Half Marathon medal, and I can tell you that it sparkles, it shines, it spins, and you can customize it by adding your name and your finish time.
What?
Yeah, I'm telling you, baby. 25th anniversary.
You're getting too Gucci now. So, real quick, I had someone just text me, are they going to be giving belt buckles at the marathon?
Yes, we will be doing belt buckles again for the marathon and the half marathon. We will have medals for the 5K.
Okay. All right. Because he was like, I got one and I want another one. So, okay. There's your answer. Nice.
I think we can make that happen.
All right, brother. You take care, and I'll give you a call here in a couple of days.
Yes, sir. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Oh, yeah, you too.
Bye.
So that was awesome, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Mr. William Eugene Combs of High Five Events, 3.5 Marathon coming up. Obviously, the Austin Marathon coming up. So much coming up in Austin Marathon. Get out. Enjoy this beautiful weather. I know maybe a little bit wet tomorrow morning, 100% chance of rain during our training time in the morning, but there's a treadmill. Get on it. Walk around your neighborhood. Walk up and down your stairs. There's my beautiful bride likes to say, if your legs are sore, butt bump down the stairs, but get moving. It's going to be a great, of course, we have a lot of things we're going to be talking about. The Oilman Texas Triathlon, I was just announcing last Sunday. What a beautiful event. What an amazing day. It was a 1.2-mile swim, 56-mile bike, 13.1-mile run. Of course, over in Lake Conroe, over in Montgomery, Texas, beautiful day. Started off with a little rain, cleared up by 7 o'clock, right at start time, and then it was gorgeous from then on. Got into nice, clear weather. Volunteers, beautiful job. Thank you all so much for coming out. And, of course, you can find out more information at out-loud.org. Oilman Texas Triathlon, great event. So great. It was actually last year, 2 years ago, it was the national championship for long-distance triathlons here in the United States. This Saturday, you'll see me at the New Braunfels Half Marathon, 10K, 5K in the morning on Saturday morning. That's at the New Braunfels Drive-In. Beautiful location. Plenty of parking. I don't have to worry about where am I going to park. Plenty of parking spots out there at the Drive-In. Course, a little bit rollers, but again, you're going to love it. And then on Sunday morning, I'll be at the Addie's Faith Foundation 5K and 1K for the kids' cancer run as we try to eradicate that deadly illness and dreaded disease. Again, it's Mark with iSpeakFree.net. Please take care. God bless. Have a great weekend. Be safe.